All right, everybody, time now for Truth, Justice, and the NBA. Coming up, we will talk about those Golden State Warriors who recently, in Game 5 of their West Semifinal, ended up playing Memphis Grizzlies-style basketball, and that was bad news for the guys from West Tennessee, as Golden State dictated the pace of the game, but they did it defensively. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's first talk about Houston, down 3-1 entering Game 5 on Tuesday night from the Toyota Center, and James Harden wasn't feeling very good, okay? Physically, he was absolutely flu-bugged, okay? He didn't look like he was going to be effective at all. And I'm not trying to compare him to Michael Jordan, but of course, when I think about a player who had flu-like symptoms in a big game, it was Michael Jordan back in '97 in the NBA Finals with the Bulls and the Jazz tied at 2 games apiece, Game 5 at Utah, and, Michael Jordan had the flu. And that was bad news for Utah, as for Jordan, it was one of the most memorable performances he ever had as the Bulls won that game and would eventually win the series when they went back to Chicago for Game 6. Well, fast forward 18 years later, James Harden with his team on the brink of elimination, needing a big performance, and boy, did they get one from Harden. 26 points on the night, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Yes, he went Ice Cube, as in the rapper Ice Cube from Today Was a Good Day. If you're not old school, make sure you look up that rap on YouTube and you'll know what I'm talking about. Triple-double, in other words, for the beard. Dwight Howard, he was big. 15 boards on the night and 20 points. So when you get DH and the beard playing that well, it transfers to everybody else, and that includes the bench. And how about Terrence Jones, who did not get the start, but you know what? That's okay. Josh Smith did. Smith played admirably. 4 of 7 field goals, and it was Jones and Corey Brewer, the two big bench players on the night for the Rockets. 27 combined points on a combined 10 of 16 from the field, and also add Spencer Hawes with 11 points. Hawes, by the way, a huge three-pointer when the Clippers had cut the lead down to 2 points with just under 4 minutes to go before halftime, and that's when the Rockets went on an 11-2 run, highlighted, and it began with a Hawes three-pointer as the shot clock wound down to 0. Hawes hit it, and at that point, you could say that Houston, no pun intended, was ignited into the sky. Rockets won the game easily, 124-103 to stay alive in the series, now down 3-2 with Game 6 back at Staples in Los Angeles. By the way, just a little bit later tonight. Right now, the Bulls and Cavs are playing Game 6 from Chicago, even as we're doing a recording. Really, all you have to do in this game is look at the areas of production. Bench play, 36-24 in favor of Houston. How big? Rebounding, all Rockets, 58-39 in the game, and we've seen the rebounding margin, be a lot closer than that, especially in LA Clipper wins, but not the case Tuesday night. And field goal shooting, Houston was hot. 54% from the field. The Clippers just averaged on the night, 41%. And don't get me wrong, Blake Griffin had 30 points in the game, 16 boards. Chris Paul, 22 points, 10 assists. It's hard to fault those guys, but Matt Barnes, you never know what this guy's going to do, and he once again played bad. 1 of 8 from the field, not going to do it. Jamal Crawford, you wouldn't expect him to play bad, being the best bench player, and sometimes the only bench player who does anything worth a damn for the Clippers, but even he on Tuesday night was miserable with 2 of 10 field goal shooting and just 5 points. And you look at Austin Rivers, and he went up, he goes down, and he was back down again, only 3 of 11 from the field, a mere 8 points. Bottom line is that, the more desperate team played like they were on the brink of elimination and played their best game of the series, in my opinion. So they put a little bit of pressure on the Clippers this evening. We'll see if home court wins out for the Clippers and maybe Game 5 was an aberration, or we'll see if Houston can build upon it. And one thing's for sure, if they do build upon it, I don't think Harden's going to be 100%. He was still having those coughing conditions as the Rockets, the last either today or yesterday, practice at the UCLA facility to get ready for this game. And again, James Harden was again having some flu-like complications. And who knows if it's to the same level. You would hope not, just for the sake of fair competition. But bottom line is that Houston does eliminate one game from being eliminated, and they'll try to do the same and get this thing back to Houston for Game 7 this weekend. Clippers, of course, trying to make it to their first conference finals ever, and they can do so with the win late, way too late on Thursday. The game didn't start till 9:30 Oklahoma time. Way too late. Got to talk to Commissioner Adam Silver about that. Like he's going to listen to me. Well, listen to me now because we're going to end the show by talking about Memphis and Golden State. If you missed it, you probably did because this game started way late at 9:30 Oklahoma time, 10:30 if you live on the East Coast. Memphis Grizzlies had the thing tied at 2, or you could say Golden State with that Game 4 win tied it at 2, but still anybody's series entering game number 5. The best team in the league all year, Golden State, with those 67 wins and only 15 L's, needed a big performance to show everybody, including Memphis, that, hey, we're that team that became the best all year long from the beginning all the way to now. And they did it by showing everybody that, hey, we don't have to score 120 to beat you. We'll just limit you to 80 or 85 points. How about 78 for Memphis? The Grizzlies that night, I tell you what, Memphis, it's like that Marc song called Walking in Memphis. Well, they were sleepwalking in Memphis because they didn't look like they were there. And Golden State, they're a fantastic defensive team as well. You think of offense, we think of Golden State, you should with Barnes, with Thompson, and of course with the MVP and Curry. But keep in mind, though, that their defense, especially with Draymond Green, they'll just drape all over you. And it was 98-78. This game from the third quarter onward was a laugher. And Steph Curry, 18 points, that's not going to wow you. But all of his points came from behind the three-point arc. 6 threes on the night for the MVP. And 6 steals, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's what I call a good night's work for Curry. Big bounce back for him after the Game 3 disappointment when we saw him play well in Game 4, and he follows it up in Game 5. We mentioned Barnes, his good performance, 14 points, including 3 threes. Klay Thompson, 21 points in the contest, 3 of 4 from beyond the three-point arc. That's what you call Curry and Thompson getting involved. And again, they don't have to have major points to win. And by the way, here's a side note, too. Steph Curry, first ever player in NBA playoff history with 6 3-pointers made and 6 steals in the same game. The guy's still young, too, and he's going to get better. That's scary. Big stat on the night for you statisticians, 3-point shots. How about this? This stat will make you go, whoa. 14 threes on the night for Golden State. When they're doing that, you're not going to beat them. I don't care if you're Cleveland. I don't care if you're Atlanta. I don't care who you are. You're not going to beat Golden State when they hit that many threes, okay? Because it opens up for everything else. Memphis tried to match them, but couldn't, only hitting 4 threes on the night. Here's the thing about the game, though, okay? Gasol and Randolph got their double-double. That's nothing new for those two guys. 13 on the night, 10 rebounds for Zach Randolph. His biggest problem was turnovers, okay? He had a plethora of them on the night, had at least 4. And Marc Gasol, he got 18 points, okay? You expect that from him and expect 12 rebounds and 6 assists. Problem was he took way too many shots, took 22 of them, and made only 8. The first quarter, things were looking good for the Grizzlies, but the problem was after they got 23 points and were up by as many as 6, we saw Golden State start to take over the game, and then slowly but surely we saw the Grizzlies scoring production drop. 25 in the first, only 16 in the second, 16 in the third. They did score 21 in the fourth, but by then the game was already basically caked, baked. In other words, stick a fork in it, and Memphis was done. So Grizzlies now down 3-2. They'll get Game 6 back at FedEx on Friday night to try to do a Bee Gees and stay alive. Otherwise, for Golden State, they can tell Memphis to go to the pearly gates because this one will be all over, okay? And the last 2 games, we've seen Golden State's defense stick out just as much as their offense. When that happens, and of course in Memphis' defense, there was no Tony Allen to play defense. Game 5, they did not have him because of the sore hamstring, and he was big-time missed in this game. Don't know what his status will be for Friday. And by the way, speaking of status, not good news at all. Steve Kerr confirmed the rather obvious that Maurice Spates, one of their fine role players, will not play for the rest of the series due to injury. So that's where we're caught up right now. Again, going on right now, Chicago, Cleveland, second quarter. It was even last time I saw. Not surprising because that's been one heck of a series. And, of course, later tonight on Thursday, May 14th, 2015, got Game 6 between the Rockets, who are trying to stay alive and force Game 7, and the Clippers trying to close it out and make it to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. Don't really know what to expect, to tell you the truth, from that contest, but you would probably give the Clippers the edge. They'll have the home court advantage behind them, and we'll need to see if Dwight Howard in this series can play a pretty big road game. He can play well at home. see what he can do, though, when the stakes are going to be at their biggest. Houston trying to avoid elimination again. That will do it for this edition of Truth, Justice, and the NBA. We'll have another show sometime this weekend. We'll talk about the East on the next show and how this time it was not Paul Pierce that was the hero. It didn't look like it was going to be, but somebody from the opposite side to turn the tables. And, of course, we'll talk about Chicago-Cleveland and all about what happened tonight, game number 6. Thanks for watching.